sentence. Oh, nice. I hear a volunteer. I'm sharing my screen. Hello, Jackson, Kai, maybe Cammy now too, and Prudence and Callie and Jaden. I started late. Sorry, guys. Remember, there's another video from last week where we did the first 3 sentences of this. I need to make my thumbnail go away. We just did the 4th sentence, so we're not that behind. It was Eurystheus gave 12 grave works to that wretched man. Is the best way to take A, Miss Arrow? Because unfortunate him is so awkward. All right, now we're on this one. So, but Hercules had not been conquered by fear. That is a pluperfect passive verb. Victus erat there. And then metu was an ablative of means. All right, who can read the next part? Caden, I'm glad you're volunteering, but let's get Keaton to read this one. And you do the next one.
Said Hercules metu non victus erat, mecu novus Annibalius peri patrat, necu ab habibus ius genuis quod numpam self-hilaribus caret.
Good. Isn't it kind of fun to say Latin? It always feels like you're saying a Harry Potter spell. Neque novis animalibus terrei paterat, neque ab hominibus eis generibus quod numquam scolaribus caret. We have some important vocab words in here, so if you're not getting all the grammar, you should at least be brushing up on your vocab really intensely while we do this. Okay. Keaton, do you remember what happens when we have a bunch of neques or necks? What do you translate neck or neque as? Lucy? Yeah, it might be a neither nor kind of situation. We usually say that with neck, but neque can be that too, and neither ... nor ... So novis animalibus terrei. What is that? Terrei. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Is it paterat terrari? Is that what it's supposed to be? Could not. What's the case of novis animalibus? Anyone? Phoenix? Yeah, we probably have an ablative. Good. And then we see more ablatives ab hominibus. So neither novis animalibus nor by hominibus. What's the case of eis and generis? Or they're going together. Anyone? They're going together. It's kind of hard to tell. We have a pronoun version of this case ending and then a noun version of it. Yeah, I don't know. Y'all can't recognize the case of either of those? Luke? Not dative. Phoenix? I think genitive. So let's break this down a little bit. This is coming from genus, generis. Okay, so that's genus generis. That's it right there. That's a genitive, third declension. And eis is from is, ea, id. That's a genitive singular. Eis is for all 3 genders, the genitive of our personal pronouns. So something like of, and it looks like we're actually treating it demonstratively, of this type. Quote, what do you think quote is here? Is it which? It's a relative pronoun, a relative clause, or is it our conjunction quote? What do you think? This is kind of just an intuition thing. Elena? Huh? So it could be hill, but let's see. I'm only seeing, I see a verb up here, paterat, terrei, which I think should be terrari. But I don't have reason to believe that I have a relative clause, basically. Phoenix? No, I think it's actually because. I think it's the conjunction. Let's see if I'm right. So he could neither be frightened by new animals. So this was terrari. Okay, now I fixed it. It's terrari. Oh my gosh, let me fix that over here. Yeah, okay. We're gonna have to talk about terrari there. That's weird. He could neither be frightened by new animals, okay, novis animalibus, neither new animals, nor by men of his kind. Of his kind, meaning like other heroes or gods or demigods. Nor by men of his kind who never lack wickedness. So it is actually a relative clause. All right. Oh gosh, it is a relative clause. And then Correo, I really need y'all to know that Correo is this word to lack. I think a lot of people don't know that word. Because either y'all just got it in chapter 20, or we just haven't had a lot of practice with it. Really to lack. Okay. What's the antecedent of quod? Men of his type who never lacked or never lack wickedness. What's the antecedent of quod? It's telling us more about what in the main clause. Because now I've underlined the relative clause. Sorry, I meant to look at this Hercules reading. I should have looked at this morning. I got distracted by, I got a brand new laptop and the camera in the back, but I'm not even using it because like this old setup is still better. But I wasn't totally prepared. That's why I'm getting thrown off by quote here. Phoenix? Yeah, so I mean it's right next to it. It's expanding on. It's just kind of tricky. It's kind of really tricky because what we want is a comma there. That would have helped. That's why, like, y'all heard me. I didn't think it was a relative pronoun. I was wrong. I thought it was because or something. Like because he lacked, he never lacked. Yeah, that one makes sense. Anyway, so it's actually this relative pronoun. All right, and how do we describe Noes etymologous? It's an ablative of what, Luke? No, it is means. Yeah, that would be means. And then what's going on with Tereri? So he had never been able to be frightened. This is something that definitely happened over quarantine, so you're probably real fuzzy on it. Not perfect. What kind of word is it? It is an infinitive. It's a passive infinitive. So let's not forget about these passive infinitives. I guess that's something we're on track to review on Thursday because that is a chapter 18 concept. Because like the normal infinitive, the active infinitive, like to frighten is tereri. And so to make it passive, we just chop off the E and add a long I, tereri, which sounds the same. But it's going to be to be verb instead of to verb. So yeah, we got a lot of things going on here. We start off with a conjunction, then we got a subject. We have an ablative of means, and then a flu, perfect, passive verb at the beginning of this. And then the sentence isn't actually even over after the semicolon. We have these negating conjunctions. Neither by new animals he had been able to be frightened, nor by men of his kind, which, well, y'all are right. I'm so sorry. Lack or never lack correct wickedness. Because Hercules, he does lack wickedness. He seems like a pretty good guy, except the one time that Hera made him go crazy and kill his whole family. But other demigods might actually be evil full time, is the kind of idea there. Any questions? It's okay if this feels like review. It still is. We're kind of still in review mode for another week or so. Who can read just until the semicolon? I'll Luke read. Thank you. Good, yeah. What do you think about that one, Luke? That one's not too bad. Yeah, pretty much exactly. It's not just the lion; it's the great lion with his bare hands. That's like an idiomatic way of saying it. But what's a slightly literal way to say it? Luke again, or like how would we more literally, Parker? You said his own hands. Not really, because it's not. That would be if we had a reflexive possessive adjective, like if we had. Oh, maybe that's what you're thinking of, because it almost looks like that. That would be like if it was Suis, I think it would be how it would be if it was his own hands. But Solus is from sola, solus, sola, solum, Phoenix. Yeah, his hands alone or his hands only, or maybe like only his hands. Yeah, good. Um, good. I'm color coded. Okay. Sorry, part of the problem is I thought I could use this old slide. This was the beginning of quarantine when I first made this slide. And so my process was different. I guess I was going through the whole thing, color coding it first, and then translating it, which is kind of weird. So I'm going to actually go back. But that first part is just Hercules overcame the great direct object lion with his hands alone. It's an ablative of means. I'm not going to bother with that y'all with that question because it's pretty clear. And then Careless is deer. Didn't we see something with a deer yesterday? So I've already given away that it's a direct object, but hopefully y'all kind of like would see that it's a direct object anyway. They're the first two words in the sentence, but they're ending in accusative ending, so it's like not like it could be the subject or anything. And then it looks like we have a what kind of clause following the swift deer? The swift deer. What kind of clause do we have following that? Anyone? Chloe, what's really the only kind of clause we really talk about at this point? With an R? Okay, Carly? Yeah, it's actually a relative, right? Because, Chloe, I see a relative pronoun, and here I have the comma. The comma makes me feel much more comforted than last time, where I was tricked into misleading y'all and thinking quote was the conjunction because. Okay, when a relative clause starts with a comma, I'm not even worried about spotting it. It just kind of becomes clear to me. We're expanding on, I'm sure it's going to be the deer. I can just tell now that Carawam is going to be the antecedent here. Something about a swift deer. How should I take Cuius? Anyone know the case of Cuius out loud? Anyone? We already saw a pronoun end in IUS. It was what case though? Yeah, genitive. So it's going to be not who, but how do we make? Yeah, whose. I think I heard Lucy say it. Whose. Okay, so the swift deer, whose what? Whose horns were golden. Good. Okay. What happened to that deer? Because remember, he's actually the direct object. We don't even know what's happening to him. It turns out Hercules Capio Capora. Yeah, captured, exactly. Pepi. For the perfect, it changes over to Pepi with an E, and then captain, like captive. So yeah, so he captured. So we have Hercules overcame a great lion with his hands alone. A swift deer he captured, whose horns were golden. And what else? We got some other stuff going on. I see the and then after the and, I just want to find my verb. I just kind of want to skip to my verb. I see there's like more nouns happening. What does inwenio mean? Inwenio. Do you remember inwenio, Addie? Probably not. That's kind of hard. You remember just winio and ire? Like Veni Vidi Vici? Yeah, so vinio by itself is I come. When it has like this preposition part in venire, it's not just come, it's more like come what? Anyone? What were you gonna say, Luke? Yeah, it's technically fine, but it can also be come upon. Because if you come upon something, that usually means it's like another way of saying you find something. So what tense? Anyone real quick? Is we keep saying this tense. Not perfect, it's blue perfect. So he had captured this and he had come upon what? Phoenix? He led it to where he found it. Is this in y'all's text? It's odd. No, it's not. Let's see. We captured it and came upon it like is that like a relative clause? He captured and from this place in which he found it. Oh, I see. I mean, I just gave it away. So this is kind of complicated, but so he captured the swift deer whose horns were golden, and from this place, ablative of place where, I'm going to treat that AO like it's demonstrative because it has an ablative buddy right next to it. From this place in which he found it, No, this is actually a relative clause. It's like really confusing to where this relative clause starts or begins. But it's a quo's antecedent here is place. So it's kind of like you want to comma here. Okay. So not going on. Wow. And then we want to comma after this verb. So this thing right here, I'm just going to put a whole box around it. In quote am and Wainwright online kids is the relative clause here. So from this place in which he found it, he did what, Phoenix? Or kind of like dragged it to Mycenae, which is where Agamemnon lives. Okay. And from this place in which he had come upon it, he dragged it to Mycenae. Right. Let's look up these next few chapters because my ninth graders are on chapter 23. And I'm just warning you guys, things get like kind of crazy. Like that honestly wasn't too bad, but obviously we're juggling a lot at this point. We got 6 tenses. We got basically 12 tenses if you think about passive versions of all the normal 6 tenses. We got relative clauses to keep track of. We got all these personal pronouns showing up, functioning demonstratively all the time. There's a lot, but literally those 3 things that I just said, they seem to be the thing that we're having to deal with a lot. We're going to review passive voice on tomorrow, though, so, or maybe Thursday. I'm going to keep moving. Is this the second paragraph? Oh, so there's a little more. I see. So let's at least finish this off before class is over. Who can read from Dane to Canaan to the semicolon? How many semicolons in this reading? Elena, thank you. Aristeo. Good. All right. So there's something we definitely need to talk about really early on. What is that? It'd be really cool if someone could just break it down for me. I read my mind, knew what I was talking about, but I know we have to address it. What's going on with Missus Erat? Not Mrs. like a Mrs. versus a Mister. What kind of verb is that? They're going together, right? You at least like maybe see where you could kind of like get used to that those are going together, or you're all like, I wouldn't even know those are going together, which that'd be reasonable. You know? Yep. Did you know they go together? Sort of. It's hard to tell. Okay, it's because of Mises and because y'all are so good. So this is from. It's from. Do you know what verb it's from? Phoenix? No, not the. See, that it's really hard to know where it's from. It's from mito, mitera, then misi, misus. So this is where I don't want you guys to like feel like you have to use Wiktionary as a crutch. And I know that y'all are pretty good, it seems like, about wanting to do stuff in advisement. And unless you're a computer kid, you don't have access to Wiktionary during advisement. But if you are home doing this, I'm not familiar with Wiktionary.com. I mean, that would only you would have to know that they were going together still. Because if you just typed in Misos, it would maybe tell you this was from the force principle part of Mito, but that would be kind of roundabout. But this is why we'll probably spend all of Thursday talking about chapter 18. There's just so much going on with the passive verb. But this is a perfect passive, okay? It's a perfect passive. What does Mito mean? Yeah, so it's going to be something like has been sent. All right. So just these first 4 words. What are just these first 4 words? Since I gave away half of them, basically. Not Luke. Addie, do you like being super far away from the board? I'm not ragging on you, but you don't mind. I just sometimes I worry I'm like gonna forget you or something because you're all the way over there. Phoenix, what do you think? Yeah, and more like has been sent is a touch better. Was sent would be like if it was mite bot tour, third person singular passive, present passive that is. But anyway, so then that man has been sent. Who is he sent by? Yeah, by Eurystheus, ablative of not means, but ablative of secret agent. Contra. against who? Cerberus. Okay, so really it's not too bad. It's just like we're so liable to get snagged really badly on just Mesos Erot. But once we get past it, it's like fine. Against Cerberus, who is Cerberus? He's an Akram Canaan. He's a bitter dog. Good look. Yeah, he's a bitter dog. We have apposition there. Okay. There we go. Oh, here. This is me inventing the style I ended up sticking with, which is a little better. Except I still wasn't color coding English. Yeah, I should have gone over it before this class. Okay. Next, that man has been sent by Eurystheus against Cerberus. You can read this one. We're almost done, guys. We got about 5 minutes. Thanks. Okay, this one's not bad. I don't see any newfangled scary grammar in this one. This one's real chilled out. Let's get somebody who hasn't shared a translation and go. Well, I guess 3.5 of you guys not clear, but anybody have luck with this one? Watch me say it's easy and like I run into something again. No. What's the subject of this one, Addie? That might be the only thing that's kind of hard about it. What's the subject? Do we have a subject? How about this? What's the verb? Yeah, is that the only verb? It has a buddy, right? It's what did you say? I couldn't. Yeah, good. So that is our predicate right there. I'm not seeing anything that looks nominative-y. And isn't this even after a semicolon? So especially after a semicolon, be aware that you might have like a subject carrying over, like a he or a she or something. I think that's what was happening. I think that man is still the subject. That man who has been sent by Eurystheus, he's still the subject, so we can, and it's Hercules, right? So he what? What did Patrot mean, Eddie? Not is able or has been able. Not present either. It's pluperfect. We'll have pluperfect here. So it's he. H word. Not has, but yeah, good. So pluperfect is had. Remember, if you see ERA in the ending of a verb, it is probably either. Well, I'm sorry. This is actually so it's he was able. You might have said that. I'm like really off my game today. It's cool. It's because of the fire drill. So he was able to what is Mulberry? Drop the A and think of what it looks like without the A. Work? Yeah, he was able to move. And etium is like and also or even. So he was even able to move what? Move what? There is a direct object here. That may be optimized or not a little bit. Phoenix? Yeah, even this hunk. Hunk there is the direct object. Yeah. And then ob ipsa porta. What is that? Yeah, from not just the gate, but that gate. What's the gate of what? Pluto, who's their declension there. So he could even move this thing away from the gate of Hades, this thing being the bitter dog. And the versions are different. Sometimes he, I guess he's not the one to put it to sleep, right? That's Orpheus. I think he just like chokes him out or something. And then he puts him on a leash and like walks him around all in Greece for a little while. All right, this is actually the last one, I promise. Looks like we start off with a prepositional phrase. What is that? Real quick, those first two words. Eden? Yeah, after what? Hike is going to be after. It's actually new. I guess it's neuter accusative to be the object of post. Post takes an accusative, Carly. Yeah, just after this, and after other things, after alia facta, Phoenix. Yeah, after this and other deeds, our subject Hercules. We have another perfect passage, guys. Don't freak out. It's fine. What has been verbed, right? Has been. Anyone out loud? Yeah, freed or liberated. What would that be? That's kind of weird. from the labors. He was liberated or freed from the labors. Yeah, he had to do 12 of these labors to be liberated from them. I'm supposed to use green for my ablative, so I will. The laborious, can you not tell? It's an ablative of what? Separation. Well, we're still getting kind of a handle on with separation. Because it's like something he is like separated from, if you want to think of it that way. So with separation, the only verbs that takes ablative separation are pareo, if you lack something, libero, if you are freed of something or free something from something, and prohibeo. So that's about it, I think. There might be one more if you keep something away from something. So sometimes they are ob or x show up with the ablative separation, but they don't have to. Which is what kind of makes it kind of tricky. Like we're having to add from ourselves just in the fact that it's ablative. Okay, if you didn't have it, it's cool. Do at least half of the second paragraph, and I'll let you off the hook. I should have prepared for this class a little more today, too. So what goes around comes around. I was being real grumpy, and I need to check my PowerPoints before I go through them and look at the Latin to brush up on it. But anyway, for those 3.5 people, do a little bit of paragraph 2, and all will be forgiven. Work on those organization skills, guys. We are going to brush up on this Latin. It's going to be great. All right. Computer kids, how are y'all's laptop batteries today? So they were either really low or like already dead almost. I don't know what happened. I'm just going to move them off that outlet and see what happens. And I'm going to try to email that dude. Yeah.
Adrian just loaded for half the class. She just got Because like when it finally loaded, yeah, and you're probably get them on with the quality Wi-Fi. Yeah, that was also like
Yeah, this is so
I mean, he's
Alyssa and Sadie, I want to bring your laptop. Hey, so y'all, that was an organization where you literally like you eventually find it.
No, I left my math homework and like all my homework on my desk.
So it's not just this class.
Yeah, it's not just this class.
All right.
I mean, it was all because I waited till last minute to do everything.
Yeah. All right. So let's just try the back out. Maybe this out. They're like, no, they're just many parts of the like all of them are like extra ones.
I told you so. I saw it right there.